And now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand Hotel Casino, the city of entertainment here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Prince Promotions, along with Let's Get It On Promotions and the MGM Grand are proud to present the two best featherweights in the world. It's 12 rounds of boxing for the Featherweight Championship of the World. Approved by the International Boxing Organization and sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission Chairman Dr. Elias Ghanem, Vice Chairman Dr. Luther Mack, Commissioners Amy Ayub, Glenn Carano, and Dr. Flip Homansky. The scoring for this bout will be done on the 10-point system per round, and the three judges assigned to ringside are Dwayne Horde, Chuck Jampa, and Patricia Jorman Manning. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action inside the ring, working for the 140th time as a referee in a title fight, Joe Cortez. And now, for the standing room only crowd in attendance here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trimmed with silver. He weighed in at 125½ pounds. In his professional boxing career, he has been victorious 52 times, and 38 of those victories have ended by knockout. Only 3 times in 55 bouts has he been defeated. This two-time champion comes here tonight, ready and determined to show all that he is not only the best featherweight in the world, but among the best fighters in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the two-time world champion, Damas y Caballeros de Ciudad de Mexico, the baby-face assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the leopard with Adidas trim and weighing 126 pounds. His professional record is a perfect one, consisting of 35 bouts, 35 victories, including 31 knockouts. And he is rated by most experts as, pound for pound, the most devastating puncher in boxing today. He is a deeply religious man who tonight dedicates his effort to all Muslims and every believer around the world. And at this time, to honor his father and family heritage, he is requested to say a few words.
Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may translate, I bear witness there is only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. Peace and blessings be upon him. Ladies and gentlemen, from Sheffield, England, presenting the 3-time undefeated featherweight champion of the world, boxing's royalty, Prince Naseem.
Los calzones muy altos, ¿eh?
All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules of the dressing room. Ya vi las reglas camerino. I expect a good, clean fight. No rough tactics. These trunks here are a little high. These trunks, they're a little high also. Punches here are still good. Give me a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Remember, guys, I'm fair, but I'm firm. Touch them up. Okay.
Barrera believes that a victory would make him a hero in Mexico. The Prince believes that a victory will earn him recognition as a great fighter as well as a great showman. The stakes couldn't be higher.
And a quick word about the tactical face-off. Prince Naseem is a southpaw who usually dispenses with the jab relatively early, squares his shoulders, and throws power punches. Marco Antonio Barrera is a conventional fighter, but by far his biggest weapon is the left hook, especially to the body.
Boy, they've got one of the most straight-laced referees in the business. Joe Cortez. It's not going to take a lot of foolishness, so be careful of the disqualification. Barrera's got to make certain that he stays solid in every round with a good body shot. Get this guy off of his feet, moving away from you. And the Prince has got to come out of his trick bag and make Barrera try to be a showman as well.
Barrera boxing, not just waiting in. Gets to the body, wobbles nails with a left hook upstairs.
The one thing you don't want to get into is a slugging match with the Prince.
It all looks so good at the start. He looks off balance. You hit him with your jab. It shows an effect. You begin to feel like, I can do this easily. That's what Kevin Kelly thought.
Ahmed was momentarily dazed, I thought. Conned his way out of it. Took some good shots. He's back on his feet.
But he allowed Barrera to taste his power just a little bit.
Barrera is not looking in.
Big left hand by Barrera.
He is boxing and picking his spots.
It's a very interesting choice of fight plans by Barrera, and he's making it work very effectively in round one. He's landed 2 big left hooks upstairs and a couple of shots to the body. Naz hasn't done any real damage.
And that left hook that Barrera landed was a hurting left hook. Those are the kinds that make you stop and wonder what in the world you're in the ring with, or who.
Round one is all Barrera as Prince Naseem takes several power shots from the Mexican star.
With the dab, with his left hook. Yeah, see what you're doing is keeping your hands up.
In Barrera's corner, our interpreter is Ray Torres.
Good work, Marcos.
Barrera fighting an intelligent, measured fighter against an awkward fighter. Briefly dazed him early in the round, later came on to land those hard jabs.
George, in round one, the Barrera crowd was going wild every time he connected with Naz because Naz's head swivels around as though on a pedestal of some sort. Is it solely because Naz's balance is so bad that he looks to be affected by every power punch?
Absolutely. He's always off balance. That's why you can catch him with the looping shots.
A warning because Naz threw a backhand.
Joe Cortez is quicker than any referee to stop Prince Naseem from backhanding with his jab.
And the Prince has got a little whelp under the eye there. That may be a changing factor when the corner goes into the corner. It may not be able to give advice. You got to work on his eye.
Excellent right hand body shot by Barrera. And you can see the mouse under Naz's right eye as George pointed it out.
Now he's got Barrera clowning a little bit. That's what you want. That's what you want if you were the master at that kind of thing. Get the guy stepping into new waters.
English crowd chanting Nazi, Nazi, Nazi.
And that's the thing about being in the dressing room so long with all of that playing around. Someone is going to come out very cold, and it was the Prince this time.
Notice that Barrera, when they're in close, has his head, keeps his hands very high, very aware of Hamed's punching power.
But Barrera's got to make certain when he throws his shots that he's at home. Don't go lunging out there.
Shades of the Cesar Soto bout in Detroit as Barrera is either pulled down by Hamed or pushes him down. Mark Ratner comes up onto the ring apron.
What happened there was Hamed lunged at him into the clinch and tried to throw him off balance, and Barrera responded.
I don't want any raw tactics.
Have you ever seen a police officer put his hand on a fighter during a fight, George? I don't think I've seen that before.
Well, the police better be very careful tonight. There's a crowd that could be easily into the ring.
Prince Naseem beginning to become more active. George Foreman referred earlier in the round to the long delay that preceded the fighter entrances here. A delay of an hour as Prince Naseem Hamed had his glove wrapped, rewrapped, and put on 2 or 3 times before finally coming into the ring. Hard left hand by Prince Naseem, countering Barrera inside.
The Prince is the aggressor.
Right hand and a left by Barrera, rocking Naz back.
I didn't expect to see the Prince being the aggressor this early.
And Barrera countering him. Mostly marked by the wrestling incident as both fighters wound up on the canvas together.
Perfect. Now you got to fight your type of fight. That's what you want now. You got to cut all this. That's what you want. But keep backing them up. You're getting them confused. Keep backing them up. And, you know, the key shot, when he saws that weak jab like that, bam, right through the center, okay? Let him start the
Marco, the jab, that's your key. You got to keep it. You're more intelligent than him. Much more intelligent than him. Then lift up your head and keep working. You're doing great.
Quiero una pelea limpia, ¿ok? No quiero pelea sucia, ¿entiendes? All right.
A review of the wrestling incident. There you see, on off balance, Hamed jumps into Barrera. Barrera holds him by the waist. They dance around and fall to the canvas.
And I think Barrera's big complaint was that Naz wrapped his arm around the back of his neck.
I think the big complaint is that he made him wait a long time in that dressing room. He's unsteady about it. He doesn't like it.
Round 2 was fought at a slow pace. 35 punches thrown by Hamed, 31 by Barrera. That is the kind of pace at which Prince Naseem wants to fight. That's why Emmanuel Stewart said perfect when he came back to the corner.
Barrera is allowing Hamed to create and make the fight. He's not initiating anything. Just sits and wait to counter. That could be good, could be very bad.
Is it out of respect for Naseem's power that Barrera is fighting the way he is?
I think, Jim, it's because they feel that Naseem is more effective as a counterpuncher rather than taking the lead. And they're testing him in this way.
No, he's hesitant because he's reluctant. That's what he's being. If you're a good fighter like Barrera, you want to stay in there, keep the action going, and take advantage of it.
All right, bring out.
Blood on the nose of Marco Antonio Barrera, apparently from one of those left-hand shots by Naseem.
Naseem keeps his eyes up, his hands down, his neck is straight into the air. Why doesn't the guy charge him? He's reluctant. You must take advantage of all of these openings created by your opponent.
So while Barrera, in the weeks leading up to the fight, insisted that he had no particular respect for Naseem's power, he's fighting as though he does.
When a guy stands in front of you with his hands down and his neck up, why? What are you waiting on?
Hamed smiling at Barrera. Barrera continuing to fight at a pace which favors Prince Naseem, or at least seems to.
When the Prince gets into a good rhythm, he throws 2 rights and then a left. 2 lefts and then a right. He hasn't found his rhythm yet.
Barrera lands a jab. Prince Naseem grins. Barrera lands a right hand. Prince Naseem grins bigger.
He's like a snake charmer, that Prince. Stands in front of a good puncher like that, takes a lot of nerves.
Well, he's got enormous reflexes, and he's getting hit here, perhaps more frequently than he expected.
Bring out.
Prince Naseem stepping into a straight left hand, glancing blow. The blood is flowing from both nostrils of Barrera.
So far, Barrera has neutralized the punching power of the Prince.
I got him under control.
You stayed in the on the ropes and he hit you. Wait, hold on. Let me work on this.
Next round.
That's it.
Next round. Okay.
And keep roughing him up. You know, when you finish up, get your punches, move his body when you finish up. You understand? Be a little more physical with it. You understand? If you throw a shot and you block it, push it with it. Understand? Start physically breaking him down now.
Deep one.
In close, a right hand, then followed by a left to the nose by the Prince, is probably what drew blood from Barrera.
And that punch was probably good enough to win the round from Hamed, as the 2 fighters combined to land only 21 punches, 13 by the Prince, only 8 by Barrera. You heard Barrera's corner asking for more activity. They said, you stood still and he hit you. Don't do that. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim, I got it 2 rounds to 129-28. Prince Naseem Hamed. He was just a busier guy in rounds 2 and 3. I don't think Marco threw enough punches. Jim, what Marco Antonio Barrera is doing in this fight is this. He's moving to the left to stay outside of the Prince's lead foot. The Prince is a southpaw. By going to the left, you make him reach with his left hand, which is his power punch. So Barrera's theory in this fight is to move to the left, stay away from that left hand.
Big left hand by Barrera inside. Stuns Prince Naseem. Naz smiling, but there's no question he was hurt by that left.
I have it 2 rounds to 1 for Barrera.
The Prince is going to get hit a lot because he falls asleep all the time, playing around.
He gets hit because he's off balance, George. And a composed, balanced fighter like Barrera
He's not off balance, Larry. You just can't measure this guy's movement with your orthodox boxer. He's only off balance when he's doing something that the orthodox boxer is doing. He hasn't got in one position yet. Ooh.
He gets hit because Barrera is an excellent boxer who steps inside and asserts himself, as he did right there.
That's for sure.
Nice jab and a straight punch to the body by the Prince, who seems fully recovered from those earlier blows.
When the Prince seems like he has this guy under control, he falls asleep, doesn't pay any attention to what he's doing, and he pays because the guy Barrera is a puncher.
No, George, because the guy Barrera is a terrific fighter, and you can't relax against a fighter like him. You might get away with it against lesser fighters.
Now you see the Prince watching him, steps back like a cat. He recovers real good.
Barrera ringing the right hand shot to the body.
Break out clean.
That right hand was the best shot for the Prince. Good right hand.
He seems to be throwing one punch at a time, George.
Oh, no doubt about it. That's what happens when you're a puncher. You don't believe in your combination because you think you can take a guy out with one shot.
Shooting the straight left down the middle. That's what Prince Naseem wants to do. Barrera goes to the body.
Every round, Barrera should send him to the corner hurt with a good body shot.
In round 4, Marco Antonio Barrera landed the more telling blow.
We are definitely behind on points. We are behind on points. It's 3 rounds to 1. That's the score. Don't forget here. See, when you're getting hit, it may not be that much, but your head is up, so it looks bad to the ground. And he's catching you with one punch. The left hook. Every time you come in, he's catching you with the left hook. You're coming in from here, and you're getting caught.
Nice and controlled. You got it. Just, you know, move around. You're doing well, and you're winning, Marcus. You need to move, throw more jabs, but you're winning.
Very composed, Barrera.
That was a headbutt there. You see.
Right hand inside. But the most important thing so far is he has stayed away from the Prince's power.
In fact, he's been so scrupulous about staying away from the Prince's power that he doesn't follow up when he lands a good shot. In the last round, Barrera twice landed good shots, didn't step in to try to follow up with anything. Hunt and peck were both fighters ever since round 1. In the last round, Barrera landed 9 power punches to only 4 for Prince Naseem, and a couple of them were good hard shots.
A good left to the side of the head by the Prince that time. This Prince hits so hard and he believes in his power. Barrera is staying real basically in position to counter with any combination.
We've covered Prince Naseem with glory for his punching power, and justifiably so off his record. But if any fighter's been wobbled here, it isn't Barrera, it's Naz.
Too much wobbling for the Naz tonight. And Barrera is starting to connect with a left jab.
Naz with a quick combination there.
Well, you don't want to pick on a rough guy like that in the rough tactics. He can get rougher than you. I think the Prince will find that out with Barrera.
Marco Antonio Barrera focusing his eyes on the middle of Prince Naseem's chest and occasionally throwing straight right hands to the body.
Now it has become a chess game. The Prince knows that his left hand, his big left hand, has been unsuccessful so far, and they're both looking to find the right way to approach each other, standing in the middle of the ring.
Barrera's left jab has been the best thing he's had tonight. Whenever he throws his left jab, it turns the fight around.
He's able to pop Naz with it. Here you see the difficulty of trying to get to Prince Naseem's body, although Barrera gets a right hand in there. For the most part, Barrera has been feinting toward the body because as you start forward, as is gone. Big left hand by Prince Naseem.
You know, he was right in the pocket that time. He didn't jump away as Barrera thought he would. He just stepped in with that left cross. That's what it was.
Yep. Well done, George.
This guy has just got the reflexes of a cobra.
Of a crouching tiger.
Something like that.
Of a hidden dragon.
Why you have to give this guy those rounds? What? You're not supposed to win his round. Listen, listen. You let it.
Way behind on points. Okay. If this fight goes the way it's going right now, you lose your championship. You know, he's going to have to fight. You know what I'm saying? Every time you get hit with a little light punch, your head is up, and therefore it looks much worse than it is. You understand?
Marco, your jab, you can control him with the jab. Feint him and use the jab to keep him at bay.
Ahmed may have won this round. Short left hand. Didn't get his full extension, shoulders and hips into it.
Let's go. Give me a clean.
Well, as Larry said, it has become a chess match. Generally speaking, featherweights average throwing about 60 punches per round. Your average run-of-the-mill club featherweight might throw 60 punches in a round. In this fight, by CompuBox numbers, Prince Naseem Hamed is averaging 30 punches per round, and Barrera 39. So they're throwing about half the average number of punches for featherweights.
And Barrera is doing the boxing this time. A good job of boxing.
Well, you've heard Emmanuel Stewart's opinion, as he has now told Prince Naseem in 2 consecutive between rounds periods, you're losing the fight, you're falling way behind. If this keeps going this way, you've lost your championship.
Not only so, he made him tuck his head just a little bit by telling him it looks more like he's doing more damage to you, rather than saying, there you are.
But there it is.
Your head is too straight up.
The head was up, Barrera landed a right, has his chin flung out to the side. That means points. Going to a conventional stance, trying to set up a right hand, or maybe wanting to step forward with the left.
Barrera goes to the body real good with a left jab. Hamed is best keeping the southpaw position to stay away from that jab.
As the red went into the conventional stance, Barrera got up on his toes, ready to throw more jabs.
Barrera kept saying for weeks he was going to attack. You wonder whether the Prince has been thrown off.
Huge left hand by Barrera there. Well, certainly those of us at ringside have been flummoxed because Barrera was convincing about the notion that he would go forward and make it a war, and he's done anything but.
He's done a good job of actually boxing tonight. He lands the better jabs, straight right hands, he lands the better.
He has confounded the experts, and right now he's confounding Prince Naseem.
Naseem, wake that backhand punch. Let's go.
And as the rounds go by, if Barrera continues to pile up points, you might have the specter of Prince Naseem having to go try to hunt him down in the late rounds.
He's already trying that. You don't follow a puncher around trying to get a knockout. You let the puncher come to you.
Let's go.
That was lovely. While they were in close in a clinch, Hamed threw a little bit of left hand at him, and Barrera came right back at him. That's why he is Barrera.
Lennox Lewis watching his English mate, Prince Naseem Hamed, the chess-playing heavyweight champion, perhaps critiquing the chess match for those sitting near him.
Let's let your power shots go. So your volume of punches is down too much. You're waiting, you get them in position, you get that, you let him jab and you slip it right here, but you won't do this and come back with the left. Let the big shots go. Don't worry about boxing. Let your big shots go. You punch too hard.
Marco, a little more pressure. Make sure you throw that left hook to the liver. That's going to be a good punch for you. You got to put some pressure. Be first.
Now, that little byplay on the clinch will tell you that Hamed has found out he's in with a true professional. Hamed, ever dangerous, however. If there's one fighter here who figures to be able to end the fight or begin to end it with a punch, it is still Hamed. But you cannot depend on one hand, one punch, with a skilled fighter like Barrera.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim, I got it going back and forth. 57, 3 rounds apiece. When Marco Antonio Barrera opens up, he does real well. The rounds he loses, he just doesn't throw enough punches. He really should move his hands more, Jim. Those 3 rounds I got him losing were just because of inactivity.
All right.
I have him ahead 4 rounds to 2.
I started to say, even though Barrera's corner believes they're ahead in the fight, and Emmanuel Stewart tells Prince Naseem that he's behind in the fight, Harold Letterman has it even. In round 6 by CompuBox numbers, Hamed was only 8 of 28. Barrera 16 of 51, picking up the pace.
That's what you do. A guy expects you to attack him and you box him. And then when he's depend on your boxing him, you start fighting. That's what Barrera is doing. He's pacing himself.
Barrera with a right to the belly and a left upstairs. Naz grins at him. Barrera says, come on. Come on.
All right, break. Break out. Break.
And that's what you want a solid fighter like Barrera doing. Clowning with a clown.
Big right hand to the body again by Barrera. No nonsense now. Emmanuel Stewart said to Prince Naseem, let your big shots go. And he knows that throwing 30 punches around isn't likely to get it done. Naz beginning to jab more frequently.
Those shots on top is not going to do it with Barrera. He's going to have to climb it, bring it down, close to the chin.
Hamed refused to concede before the fight that Barrera was the best fighter he was ever in with. I wonder what he's thinking now.
Hamed picking up the pace with his jab, throwing it more frequently, landing it more often. That was a slap by Barrera. Hard shot with the left. Barrera on move.
Boy, he's throwing these sledgehammers type shots. They haven't been able to get square in the middle yet, but he's starting to pick up the power.
I think I saw blood from the prince's nose. The royal nose with some royal blood.
Couple of left jabs onto the royal chin. Interesting rounds. Alicia Hamed, wife of the prince, looking urgent and not entirely confident as she sits at ringside and roots for his Nasness.
Come on, take a deep breath. Okay, I want you to focus now, okay, Pa? 1-2-1, right?
Good round for Barrera, according to CompuBox numbers.
We need to throw the left hand, right? You're holding too much on it, all right, Pa? You're holding too much with it, all right? We have to let it go. Okay. All right, Pa? We're going to fight from your shoulders now, okay? Yeah. Now,
Marco, you got to keep repeating that jab. That jab is what's going to do it for you.
El jab!
The jab! That's what you need. The jab, the jab, the jab. Don't stop throwing it.
This is the jab, jab, double jab. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, particularly not when Naz's chin and head are bouncing around to make these punches look even more effective than they are. It appears, at least our eyes, that Marco Antonio Barrera has fought an effective tactical fight, limiting Prince Naseem's chances to get off with big shots and landing enough of his own to appear to take a lead on the scorecards. Harold Netterman still has them only a point apart.
I think the Prince corner didn't see that Prince was moving on and starting to take charge of the fight a little bit. It may have misinformed him that round. Now for the first time you see the Prince getting closer and closer to the ropes with his back himself. Early on he had Barrera moving.
Barrera following his corner's instructions perfectly. Jab, 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 jab.
Left hand partially blocked.
Whoa!
One landed solidly. And a right to the body by Prince Naseem. Barrera came back low.
I didn't think that punch was low.
Cortez did.
Which is the only thing that counts.
My point.
Thing about Prince, when he doesn't have anything else, he's got power.
And he lands another left hand upstairs. Barrera suddenly dispensing with the jab. Naz stalking and trying to land that left cross.
Counter punch, counter punch. You just got to finish up Prince. When Prince throws one shot, it doesn't even matter if he comes back with another. He's got to finish up with his right hand. He throws a two-punch combination, he can get a knockdown.
But he's off balance, George. Not with his feet always, but with his body, the way he bends his body. It's effective against most fighters, against all fighters, until Barrera, but Barrera is so balanced, so on top of him.
Well, it's like a snake and a mongoose. One's off balance if he's doing what the mongoose doing, he's off balance. This guy's watching everything going on to Prince. He just got hit that time because he didn't come back with his left hand. You gotta finish up. 1, 2, 3, and he's in business.
One, two, three, 4 more rounds, and the Prince will be out of business if he doesn't change the course of this fight.
He's not going to win throwing 25 punches in a round.
You're getting in front of him and stopping and letting him get out first. And every time you let him throw that punch, vicious out here, you slip, shoot the left hand if you can. Go to him and make him punch. And once he punches, let the left.
Best punch of the round right here. Barrera goes under a left, comes over with his right.
Gotta finish up.
Overall CompuBox numbers through 8 rounds, and it goes without saying that CompuBox punch stats are not the be-all and end-all, but they do provide a numerical blueprint. Prince Naseem Hamed, 83 out of 246. Marco Antonio Barrera, 125 out of 333. Barrera throwing significantly more, landing significantly more. Barrera 62 to 36 edge in power connects. Round 9 begins.
The first round, the Prince is trying to keep his right foot on the outside of Barrera for a change. He hadn't been worried about that early on. You see, the Prince just will not finish up with a shot. 1, 2, 3, and he's in business.
George, it appears that every time the Prince has a new tactic to try, Barrera has an answer for it.
He never tries throwing one combination, the Prince does. He comes back, he can do it. He's got to come back with some kind of punch. You see, one shot out. Now the Prince has got himself in a position where he has to look for a knockout, which is when you can get knocked out.
All right, break up.
Still didn't come back with another. Now the Prince has got his rhythm going just a little bit.
Blood trickling from the right nostril of Barrera.
The corner's been doing a good job with Barrera of keeping the bleeding down. They stop it instantly.
Very professional. Left hook to the body by Marco Antonio Barrera.
All right, break out.
Ahmed is not doing a lot of left hands.
Barrera is looking at the floor, trying to distract Barrera. Fat chance.
Left hook upstairs by Barrera. As if to say, I'm not fooled by your antics.
Let him out clean.
Barrera is one tough cookie.
Doggone right. Big left hook by Barrera. Naz making faces at Barrera, but faces don't get you points on the scorecards. And that was another round won by Marco Antonio Barrera, in my personal estimation.
Sit down. I know we're going to take him out right now, but listen, not with one single shot, right, Mike? We're going to concentrate more on his body, okay? We have to work that body. He's on his way down, and you know it. You already saw it, right?
How we doing here?
Right. We're doing good, but watch those low blows, okay, Joe?
We got 3 rounds to go. You're going to have to punch. Every punch have knockout on it. You understand? All you got to do is land one shot, man. You may miss 3, 4, but if you land the 5th shot, you still can knock this down. You got to go for the knockout. Put everything you...
One problem with Ahmed, he throws that big left hand. When he misses, he is off balance, off the floor. He is in against a complete, experienced, yet still in his prime professional fighter from a culture of professional fighters.
Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, 6-3, 87-84, Marco Antonio Barrera. Jim, I think he's won the last 4 rounds because he's opened up, thrown power shots, hurt the Prince, landed the real telling shots. The Prince is not throwing that left hand at all. You haven't seen a real hard left hand for the Prince, at least in the last 4 or 5 rounds. So Marco Antonio Barrera really winning this fight the last 4 rounds.
He's thrown the left hand, but he hasn't thrown anything with it. He's missed it. He's depending on one punch too much, George.
Well, his corner for the first time told him to put together 5 shots. And I believe him. If he can put together a combination as he just did, things can change. But he's going for 1 shot.
He can't. Barrera is countering him too well. He will not look to
beat
get
a counter puncher by throwing combinations. That's the way you stop the counter. Throw combinations.
He's not a combination puncher, George.
He's a 1 punch at a time slugger who's getting hit too frequently to get it done here. There's a big left hand. Barrera covering up.
Barrera's playing possum.
There's a hard right hand by Naseem. And Barrera comes back with 2 left-hand shots of his own. We could have fireworks down the stretch if Prince Naseem feels the urgency of this situation. Can you believe the odds on this fight were 3.5 to 1? Can you believe 28 out of 30 riders picked Hamed? Where is the respect for Marco Antonio Barrera?
Well, I bet it's there right now. I don't know how you could dismiss a fighter of Barrera's class that easily.
I'm sure he was wondering the same thing.
Barrera's doing a good job. He stays on balance. Doesn't lunge out now. He's making the Prince reach in, waiting for a counterpunch. The Prince still going for 1 point at a time, 1 shot at a time.
The combinations have been thrown by Barrera. 10 rounds in the books. A very nervous Alicia Hamed, mother of 2.
That was your round.
Go on ahead. I got you.
Okay? You take it to him where you going. That was your round. Okay? You got 2 rounds. 2 rounds. Okay? 2 rounds. 6 minutes. Keep punching down. Cooking the way you go. Power punching. And you're walking it down now. You understand?
Yeah.
Everything for power.
Yeah.
Don't throw just one punch. Throw a combination. Be quick about it. Throw more punches. And if the last one, make sure that it goes in with some force. Make sure you want to hit him hard. In the inside. Don't let him think. Don't let him relax.
Seconds out. Seconds out. Let's clear the corner.
6 minutes left for Prince Naseem Hamed to try to rescue his unbeaten record and his superstar status. 6 minutes left for Marco Antonio Barrera to try to rise to the top of the featherweight heap. Hard right hand by Barrera.
All right, break out, clean, break out, leave go.
I feel he's way behind, and even punches.
Break clean, limpio. Let's go for that. Let me clean out, guys. Limpio.
Larry Merchant is in Prince Naseem's corner with Emmanuel Stewart. Larry, what's up?
Emmanuel, do you believe that the Prince needs a knockout to win this fight?
Beyond a doubt, I definitely believe he needs a knockout, and I have told him as such. But see, I don't think he's ever been hurt in a fight, but when he gets hit, his head is up so to the point that it looks so bad to the crowd. I definitely feel that he's knocking out.
But is this the Barrera that you were concerned about, who you saw in his last fight and said this is a different fighter?
Yes, it is. A very determined fighter. And after you punch, he counter punches. Immediately he comes right back with punches after you finish. And he seems to be very focused and very well trained for Naz. Naz has got to try to land a big knockout punch, even at the risk of possibly being knocked out himself.
Thank you.
And in round 11, despite the scenario that Emmanuel Stewart just quoted to you, it is Marco Antonio Barrera who has been the aggressor.
He's not the aggressor. The Prince is bringing the fight to him. He's just landing more shots.
Well, he's getting the chances to get off, I guess is what I mean here, George.
But he's not the aggressor by any means.
No, I hear what you're saying. He's taking advantage of Naz's aggression to turn it against him.
And Naz will not come back with any shot.
Huge right hand by Barrera.
All right, break out, clean, break out.
After Prince Naseem had the edge in power shots in round 10, Marco Antonio Barrera has landed several big shots in this round. And the English crowd is seated and quiet.
The improvisational style that the Prince has developed since he was a boy is being exposed by a well-schooled boxer, puncher, brawler.
The Prince always seemed to think there is a chance to get a knockout.
Well, there is, George. There is. But not when he's running like that. Not when your fight plan becomes a flight plan.
Short left hand inside by Hamed landed. Barrera wrestles the Prince into the ropes. They're 3 minutes away from the conclusion.
Take the mouthpiece off. Take the mouthpiece off. Leave it in, leave it in. Okay, leave it in, leave it in, leave it in. It's on the Prince. Yeah, it's on the Prince.
Last and final round, touch him up.
Just in case you want to know officially.
Let's get some water. You got to keep boxing. Just the same way you've been doing it. This is the last round, and all you got to do is box them.
You can't back up. You got to bend down and go to him with short punches.
From Marco Antonio Barrera. He landed 32 out of 59 punches to 10 of only 24 for Prince Naseem. Harold Letterman, how do you have it going to the 12th?
Hey, Jim, 106, 103, 7 rounds to 4, Marco Antonio Barrera. Jim, I got to tell you, he may have lost the 10th round with Barrera, but boy, he had a huge 11th round. So in the last 6 rounds, Marco's won 5 of them. And I tell you, I think the secret is he stayed away from the Prince's big power and he landed the better shots.
Look at the right hand by Barrera. He wants to close the show with authority.
His corner told him to just box, and he's not taking that advice. He's going for it.
He's been on the wrong side of at least one decision here in Las Vegas. He doesn't want it to happen again. A reckless Prince Naseem goes charging right past Barrera.
That looked like one of his entrances flying through the sky.
If you close strong in a fight, all things can happen. So the fight is not over for the Prince. You just got to close strong.
Hold it. Okay, let's go. Don't leave, clean run, guys.
Prince is trying to figure out how can he get in one big left hand.
He's been trying to figure that out all night.
I think Barrera has already shown with his chin, one left hand won't do it.
That's true. Too much chin.
Barrera pounds Naseem into the ring post, risking disqualification. Furious at Naz's antics.
Time out. 1 point. 1 point.
And a point deduction from Barrera.
1 point. Let's go.
Unusual for a veteran fighter to have
Naz
put
wants to
himself
touch
in that
gloves.
position.
Barrera doesn't want to touch any gloves. Barrera wants to hit. Big left hook by Barrera. Scintillating round for the Mexican star.
He seems to be the stronger at that weight.
Absolutely. Stronger and better. Prince Naseem Hamed told us and every writer who had listened before the fight that if he loses, it's because it has been written by Allah. The 12 rounds you've seen here suggest that Allah knows how to spell Barrera. B-A-R-R-E-R-A.
You should be cool on that.
His moment of truth has turned into an hour of torture.
Can there be any doubt? Tremendous celebration in Barrera's corner. And Prince Naseem is wandering around aimlessly in his own. Round 12 was all Barrera. By CompuBox numbers, he landed 33 out of 66. Hamed only 7 of of 20. Of course, there was a point deduction against Barrera for this. I don't think he likes him, George.
I don't think you like him much yourself, Jim.
I like him fine. I think I have no problem with that.
You said some things I don't think you like the guy. You should be careful yourself.
You got the other one?
You all right? Hey.
Harold, how'd you score it?
Okay, Jim, when you lose a point and you win the round, it becomes a 9-9 round. So 115, 112, 7-4, 1 even. Marco Antonio Barrera, he won that 12th round big. Cortez took away a point. In the last 7 rounds, he certainly won 6 of them. Marco Antonio Barrera, down the stretch, just landed the cleaner, harder shots. No doubt about it.
Let's take it up to Michael Buffer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at the MGM Grand, we go to the scorecards. Dwayne Ford scores it 115 to 112. Chuck Champa has it 116 to 111. And Patricia Jarman Manning scores it 115 to 112. All for the winner by unanimous decision, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Final CompuBox numbers, and these numbers were widened considerably in the last 2 rounds of the fight. When Barrera posted huge advantages, he winds up landing 87 more punches than Prince Naseem, throwing 144 more punches than Naz, landing at a higher connect rate. There will also be an edge for Barrera in power punches. Even though Naz didn't throw that many jabs, he landed 69 of 167 power punches. Barrera landing 60 more, throwing 96 more, and landing almost half his power punches against the Prince. Larry Merchant stands by with Marco Antonio.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Marco Antonio, for a great fight. You said before the fight you were going to attack, attack, attack. Did you know you were going to box him?
No, si yo recuerdo, I remember that when I fight, I put pressure all the time. But in the gym, we work, move fast all the time because Hamed is paying my steel, put pressure, a change in the fight.
He said they changed the style because they knew that he was expecting a lot of pressure, but he surprised everybody.
Was the secret to the fight for you to stay away from his powerful left hand? And how did you plan and achieve that?
El secreto de la pelea para ti era mantenerte afuera del poder de la mano zurda de él. ¿Y cómo fue que tú hiciste eso?
Bueno, lo que pasa es que él no pega tan duro como decían, pero sí. De hecho, trabajamos 6 semanas viendo videos de él para hacer un buen trabajo. Gracias a Oscar Maldonado, que fue el que siempre estuvo platicando conmigo, siempre me dijo cómo pelear. Gracias a él y a todos salió todo bien.
The main thing was he doesn't hit as hard as people think that he does. And the thing was, thanks to Oscar Maldonado, he stuck with me and made me get in great condition. And that was, you see the end result.
What was your plan to avoid his left hand and make him pay every time he missed it?
¿Cuál era el plan tú? Evitar su mano zurda y hacer que él pagara cada vez que fallara.
Exactamente, porque él en todos sus videos vi que él contrarrestaba y donde noqueaba era cuando los agarraba entrando, entonces le cambiamos que él entrara para yo poder meter mis golpes.
Yeah. I've always seen him be a counter puncher, and when you charge him and you miss, and he would counter punch you. This time we tricked him.
Do you think that, were you ever hurt in the fight at all?
¿Estabas lastimado en alguna vez?
No, en ningún momento. Hicimos una muy buena preparación. Espero que ahora la gente sí crea en mí.
Yeah. No, not at all. I was never hurt. And I wish that people now would believe in me.
There were a couple of times when he seemed dazed. Why couldn't you finish him off? Did you not want to take any risks that weren't necessary?
Habían varias veces que le estaba un poco lastimado, estaba un poco mareado. ¿Por qué fue que tú no lo terminaste?
Porque eso era cuando él noqueaba. Si te das cuenta en sus videos, cuando él está noqueado, todo el mundo se avienta pensando que ya está, pero no, se recupera y regresa rápido.
That's precisely why we didn't charge him and get careless, because he does knock you out when he's kind of daisy like that, and we didn't want to take that chance.
How do you see this as a victory, both for you and for your country, where there are so many outstanding fighters like yourself?
¿Cómo tú ves esta victoria también como tú, para tu país, donde hay tantos grandes peleadores?
Bueno, la verdad está muy feliz. Quiero mandar un saludo a todo México que vio esa pelea. Dar las gracias a toda mi gente y dar las gracias a señor Ricardo Maldonado, porque ganando, él me regala un Mercedes-Benz. Ahí está.
Yeah, I want to say hello to everybody in Mexico, and I'm grateful to everybody. And I want to thank especially Ricardo Maldonado, because he promised me a Mercedes if I won, and I got one.
What's next? Do you want the rematch with Eric Morales?
¿Cuál es lo próximo? ¿Con quién quieres pelear? ¿La revancha con Morales?
No sé, la verdad, vamos a tomar un descanso, trabajamos muy duro, vamos a pensar qué sigue. Voy a hablar con el señor Ricardo Maldonado a ver si subo de peso. Digo, si me quedo en 26 o bajo a las 22.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We're going to see. I'm going to talk to Maldonado. We're going to take a long rest, and we're going to see. Am I going to stay at a 26-pound or go back down to 122?
Thank you very much for a terrific fight, champ.
Al contrario, quiero darle a usted las gracias porque siempre ha sido un buen comentarista. Espero le haya gustado la pelea.
He wants to thank you especially because you're a wonderful interviewer, and I hope you like the fight.
Viva México.
Thank you very much.
Viva México.
Jim?
Thank you, Larry. When Marco Antonio Barrera was knocked out by Junior Jones in their first fight, he came back in the second fight and boxed cautiously against Jones, trying to change the nature of the fight. He didn't get that decision, and because of that disappointment, most of us thought that he wouldn't box tonight, but rather would go in and try to destroy Hamed in a brawl. He fooled us, and by fooling us, he won. Now let's go back to Prince Naseem Hamed with Larry Merchant.
Prince, tough fight for you. Why was this fight different for you than all the other fights you fought?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's as I've told you before, Larry, but the answer you give me is you can't interview Allah. The fact is, my faith is still there to the maximum. If that's the way it's written for a man to go, that's the way it's written from Allah. I'm happy. I'm still confident. The fact is, he couldn't drop me. He couldn't knock me out. And I'm going out at this ring like a champion still. At the end of the day, I give him all congratulations and all the best of all the success in the world to him in the future. And what can I say? I only have to get straight back in the gym and get back again like champions do. Come back and fight again. It's written from Allah for that to happen, and I accept what is written. That's all I can say.
Was the delay coming into the fight, do you think it had any effect on you?
No. No delay made no effect. The fact is, I got in. The guy boxed probably better than me tonight, and that's it.
Did he surprise you by the fact that he didn't charge you and that he did box you and make you be more aggressive?
I knew he weren't going to charge me. He would have definitely got knocked out if he'd have charged me. But the fact is, he's the pure winner tonight. I congratulate him. And that's it. He didn't plan them tactics. He planned to box. And his boxing skills paid off.
Why couldn't you land your big left hand more often and more convincingly?
I don't know. He seemed to have quite a few things covered there. And basically, every time I threw it, I wasn't really too comfortable with throwing it often. But when I did, it connected sometimes. But, you know, That's just the way it goes.
How does this affect your career, your self-image as the greatest, as a guy who was going to retire undefeated?
Muhammad Rasulullah it's Muhammad Rasulullah, and Allah is the greatest, you know. Muhammad Rasulullah is the final messenger, and basically, I'm just so happy that 12 rounds was made tonight in no problem at all. I trained hard for the fight.
And how is it going to affect your career, do you think?
How can it affect me? Fighters get beat. He's been knocked out. He's been beat twice. This is my first time. I'll come back and beat him. I ain't got a problem.
Are you saying you want a rematch?
Am I saying I want a rematch? The fact is I've got a rematch clause in my contract. I'm getting a rematch.
When do you want to fight him again?
It's not that I want one. I'm getting one. When do I want to fight again? I don't know, maybe at the end of the year. I mean, I'm going to get back in. I'm going to have a nice, comfortable time with my wife and my kids. Trust me, this is the way I feel at this moment in time. I'm happy that I've done 12 rounds and come out safe. Allah has let me nice and safe, and I've come out well. The fact is, I've lost the fight. I accept the loss. I accept the loss, and I accept it written from me, from Allah. That's the way a real fighter and a real man and a real champion goes out. Right. But I will return.
Thank you very much, Prince.
That's why you see a smile on my face.
Jim?
All right. Thank you very much, Larry. So the words there, George, of Prince Naseem Hamed as he responds to his first taste of defeat. Question, will he change the style now, tighten up, having seen what happened here tonight? And Emmanuel Stewart kept making the point that because his head is up and his neck is extended, the punches look like they do more damage than would otherwise be the case. Will he change that?
Well, you can't do all that stuff in a boxing match. You got to correct all those things in the gym. And you take a note from Oscar De La Hoya. You got to change regimes here. The whole administration has to be changed. And he can come back. He can do it, no doubt about it. He was only about 2 combinations away from winning. But Barrera, what a tough cookie.
And what a brilliant fight plan, huh, George?
Boy, he boxed the puncher. He boxed him well. He had me ducking and dodging. That's one of those good things to see in a boxing match.
Terrific performance by an outstanding professional fighter. Well-deserved victory for Marco Antonio Barrera. Let's go back upstairs to James Brown.
All right, Jim, make no mistake about it. It was indeed impressive. And, Roy, I go back to the comments you made at the top of the show. I asked you, under what conditions could Barrera win? And you said?
A long fight. That was obvious. He's the boxer. Hamed was the puncher. If he goes into the long fight, the body shot started to affect Hamed. The combinations Hamed wasn't throwing like he usually does because the body shots took everything out of him. Barrera was a great counterpuncher. He boxed the fighter. He fought the perfect fight.
The game plan was excellent indeed, but you also said you liked something about Barrera's attitude when Hamed hit him during the break.
Yeah, there were several times when Hamed was trying to step in as champion and say, okay, let me bully this guy a little bit to make him back down. Then that'll boost my confidence to get ahead. But when he did it, the referee didn't say anything, so Barrera did it back. And usually the guy who retaliates is the guy who gets caught. So after that, the referee stepped in and warned both guys. And that's why, you know, sometimes you don't want to be a dirty fighter, but you can't allow a guy to come in and bully you. You have to do what you have to do.
All right, we got the viewers to weigh in on this fight as well in terms of who they thought won the fight tonight. And the viewers impressively, overwhelmingly, of course, Marco Antonio Barrera, 94% to 6% for Naseem Hamed. I think it's important to note that during that long delay, the viewers also were logging in, and the numbers reversed from what they thought pre-fight. Pre-fight, it was 53% Hamed, and it completely flipped around 53-47 in favor of Barrera during that long wait.
The reason I think is because a lot of people started to feel as though Hamed may have been afraid because this is the biggest fight of his career. The first time he's been in Las Vegas, everything was starting to catch up to you. And a lot of times when guys get nervous, everything seems to be wrong. The hand wrap don't feel right, the gloves don't feel right, your eyelashes feel like they're tangled up. You know, a lot of things go wrong. And when people saw that, some people I can imagine immediately figured out that that may have been a problem.
I love the subtleties that you point out. Let's visually embellish the point that you were making about the attitude that Barrera was displaying, not allowing Hamed to physically intimidate him. Take a look at what took place during the fight, Roy, here.
Right here. All right, the Prince throws a shot and an elbow, and Barrera comes right back and retaliates before the referee says anything, because if he's going to hit you on the break, hit him back on the break. Don't wait for the referee. We're fighting. That's what I try to explain to people. It's a fight. When you're engaged in competition, you don't stop until the referee comes and stops you. You know, like I said before, and I don't cry for spilled milk, I mean, you know, I thank God for blessing me with what he's blessed me with, but in a disqualification laws that I had, the referee doesn't say stop. I can't stop and walk away. If this guy comes from the floor and knocks me out, then I'm out. And it's not the referee's fault because I shouldn't have stopped till the referee pushed me out the way. And if I had to do it all over again, I'd do just what Barrera did tonight. When a man does something bad to me, I do it back. Don't depend on the referee. We're fighting.
The fight was all in Marco Barrera. And again, although Barrera was taking an awfully big chance tonight, you saw him get extremely aggressive with Hamed when he took him and slammed him into the post. Take a look there, Roy, and walk us through this as well.
Once again, he came back. He knew he had him at this point, so he wanted to intimidate him a little bit. So he slams into the buckle, the corner pad, to let him know that, yeah, I know I got you now. There's no sense in you thinking you can cow me out because you can't.
All right, macho to the max. Roy, as always, a pleasure working with you, buddy.
Thank you so much. And I do like to say, though, I do like the way that the Prince went out. He didn't make excuses.
Absolutely.
He went out like a great, true champion that he is, and I'm sure he'll be back.
Absolutely. The right kind of attitude to display indeed. All right, folks, so that wraps it up from here at the MGM Grand Garden. Hamed versus Barrera has been brought to you by the MGM Grand, the City of Entertainment, Las Vegas, Nevada, and by TVKO Pay-Per-View Entertainment from HBO. We'd also like to thank our internet partners and the following magazine partners. And so for all of us here at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, I'm James Brown saying so long for the entire TVKO crew. Our executive producer is Rick Bernstein. Tonight's broadcast was produced very ably by Dave Harmon and directed by the incomparable Mark Payton. Associate producers Thomas Odefeld and Brian Lockhart and Max Siegel. Assistant to the producer George Jakovic. Production managers John McCallie and Mike Davis. Technical supervisor Bob Hunter. And the technical director was Doug Getz.